Hey guys, look, I found a meme on the floor. Up 2011, where this was relevant, this was unfortunately relevant, this happened, we had sad deaths and good deaths. And it was a pretty good year for gaming. I mean, not financially for these guys, but for these guys, it was good. Modern Warfare 3 sold 30 million units, while Battlefield 3 sold 15 million. But everyone still seemed to love them equally. And this seems to be a time when both games met in the middle. And they both took place in modern times. But one went backwards and one went forward. So for people who like fighting modern battles, we'll have to stick to the oldies. That's so sad. After General Shepard's death, there still is a war going on, and Makarov is still hiding, and he's trying to get the nuclear codes. So he kidnaps Ivanka. I'm just kidding. But they are rescued. I have no idea how. Even a Michael Bay movie is more realistic than this. But the ending. That was such a badass ending. And it really makes Makarov seriously look like a true savage. He survived a helicopter crash, and then he survives getting shot and even shoots the other guy. Is this guy the original owner of Riley or something? Jesus. But he does die, and it's sort of similar to how the No Man's Sky developers did after seeing the reviews of the game. Similar to MW3, your goal is to stop all major bombings happening in multiple cities, and ironically the enemies are also Russian, and you have to prevent the nukes from happening. That's very similar. And unlike the beginning of MW3 where it takes place in New York, Battlefield 3 ends in New York. Isn't that ironic? But there wasn't really a badass ending. Or at least not as badass. For whatever reason, I have a suspicion that a lot of the pros stay on the old games, which is a little bit strange, because let me tell you, I suck at Modern Warfare 3. And unlike CODs now, for whatever reason, I don't feel motivated to upgrade my weapon, because there are some people that are trying to get the gold skin or just upgrade it as much as they can, but I'm just not feeling it here. And I guess that there are still like a couple people that are still using this excuse. Of course, it's not a Battlefield game if there are no vehicles. And this is the thing that made Battlefield 3 just more enjoyable. For me, I don't like the controls for flying in Battlefield 3. They sometimes get confusing. And while some people may find it unfair that one team may have like helicopters and jets, that sort of happens in real war. So I do like the realism. It's still a fair game. And it sort of feels cool that while you're fighting on the ground, there's also people fighting in the sky. So it really is a Battlefield type of feeling. And it is much more immersive than Modern Warfare 3, unfortunately. Well then, at least it looks as good as Ghosts, lol. But for the time, the graphics do look good. But sometimes the colors just look a little too their own color instead of blended and mixed. Like for example, yellow just looks too yellow, and green looks too green. But you'll see in a moment how Battlefield 3 mixes their colors and makes it a little bit more diverse. And lighting doesn't really seem to be that much of an issue, and of course, I guess just as a reminder, graphics don't make a game good or bad. If there's one game that doesn't give 3 shats for textures, it has to be Battlefield 3. Just look at it. But in terms of the lighting and coloring, it does a really good job. As you can see, it's very blended and very diverse instead of it being a little bit more greenish than normal or a little bit more bluish. It balances everything out. So this also is a very decent looking game for the time. There's no major issues, especially with Frostbite 2, and with all that processing, even though it's not running in 60 FPS, it still is doing a really good job. UMP45. Some of you may not like it, but for some reason I like it. I also like the Striker. It just looks hilarious, and killing enemies with it feels so good. And I never really knew I had it in me, but just look at all these kills. I guess the Barrett is just for me. I really only have one favorite gun for Battlefield because my other 2 choices aren't really that efficient, so I would have to choose the RPK-74M. It kills enemies very quickly, it's fast, you don't have to reload that much with some guns. That's just my daily driver, even though I don't play Battlefield 3 every day. Even though some of you may not agree, Modern Warfare 3 has been called one of the best CODs of all time, and I have to agree. It really was the last Call of Duty that we all loved, because Ghost sort of takes place in a sort of future type of world, so this really was our last taste at Modern Warfare, at least until we find out what's going to happen in April. Year of the Hammer! People love Battlefield 3 for various reasons. Of course, multiplayer being the #1 thing. There's a lot more strategy in Battlefield 3 than there is in Modern Warfare, because most of the time you're just barging and running around the town in MW. Battlefield 3 technically is a better game for people who like sniping. Because of the smaller map, Modern Warfare 3 has totally been loved for that. Especially when we get that guitar solo, it feels so satisfying. And there's different ways of playing Battlefield 3. You can do it with a jet or a helicopter or a car or on foot. And I still can't get over that both of the games sort of have a similar type of story almost. And they both have the number 3. And they both take place in a sort of modern time, even though Battlefield 3 takes place in 2014 and Modern Warfare takes place in 2011, so... I wonder, what was the 2014 for? Maybe, I thought it was like a foreshadowing of something, but no. So yeah, see you guys in the next one.
Your mother wants to beat your ass!
Feeling like it. Hey. Minion.
Yeah.
Feeling like it. Dollars. Minion. Good. Feeling like it.